Hello, Royalers. Come on in. Welcome to another great episode of Royal, Black, and Elite. I'm Lady TrenettWilson, your social historian and lecturer. You know, here at Royal, Black, and Elite, we bring you stories that are little known about elite blacks, not only in the United States, but throughout the world. And if you listen to my videos, which thank you all, we have grown exponentially. I can't even believe how much we've grown. And it's because these stories are so interesting. We are a unique channel, and I'm a unique girl because I am an etiquette instructor, but I'm also a social historian. So many times we see the black history as subservient and brutalized, but we were also kings and queens and elite blacks in royal courts. And this story is just like that. Our lecture today is going to take us to the world of professional ballet. And we will learn about and meet the only black ballerina who danced for the Russian Imperial Theater. Her name was Maria Sergei Skorsiuk. Her name is only now being discovered thanks to the research of a man named Peter Koppers. He was a former member of the Dutch National Ballet, and he was an African American man, and he was interested because he had heard about this woman. So when he started doing research, here's all these. Look at all these pictures. This woman was a ballerina, and we have never heard of her. Perhaps her memory has been erased because she was outside the country, but her accomplishments were too big to hide, and I am honored to bring you her story today. Now, most people, when they think about ballet, they think of Misty Copeland. When it comes to the beauty and the gracefulness and the elegance, many little black girls want to be ballerinas because of Misty Copeland. Or perhaps the Alvin Ailey dance group, who brought African culture into every beautiful dance that they did. But ballet is a worldwide discipline, which is the most formal form of dance in the world. It began in the Italian Renaissance, and it spread with the help of Catherine de Medici. Now, if you really want to hear a great story as well, check out the story about her half-brother. I've put the description down in the description and about his untimely demise. The story is, there were so many royals of African descent, not only in Europe, but all over the world, including in Italy. So you'll read about that. Be sure to check it down below. So ballet has its roots in royal or imperial courts. And during the reign of Tsar Peter I of Russia, he had a network of theaters called the Russian Imperial Theaters that featured the most beautiful, graceful, and skilled ballerinas of the. Now, unlike other countries, Russia did not practice slavery. Instead, the black people who were there were known as Afro-Russians, or they were also called the Moors. We're going to talk about the Moors in another video. They're very interesting. A lot of people don't realize that the Moors, they were all over the world in royal positions, and these were the black people who were represented there in Russia. And they were there, they were paid servants, so they weren't slaves. They were entertainers, they were business owners in the military, and they also held civic position. Now, these black people became known as Afro-Russian during this time, and the Afro-Russians grew to power in the court, and they would hold high positions of government, business, and, the different areas within the royal court. They were able to climb the social ladder, and under Tsar Peter the Great's rulership, they also grew to more substantial roles, and they began to be educated at a higher level. Now, Moors were a part of the life in the court from the late 17th to 20th century. So Maria was born during this era on July the 24th, 1872, in St. Petersburg, Russia, to a somewhat well-placed family, but who were in the lower urban class. Who her parents exactly were is unknown. It's not in her history, but it is said that her father was from a place called Luga. She began her ballet career as a state student in 1890. So the country paid for her to go to ballet school. Now, Maria entered school and she was a part of the Imperial Russian Ballet, but she had to first learn. So she had never had the training before, and they really concentrated her more on the dancing than on academics. So she, didn't do a whole lot of reading, writing, and arithmetic, but she danced. Her teacher, her name was Miss Vasem, described her as a tall, skinny girl with distinctive features of a pure African with dark skin, large black eyes, and full lips. Now, dark, as you can see, her picture wasn't really dark. But anyway, Maria, she was often used as a character dancer because her teacher felt like she needed improvement, and so did the school board. In fact, in 1881, they tried to kick Maria out because she was so bad at it. But her mentor and her teacher stuck with her. She fought for her, and because of that, she was able to try out again, and this time she nailed it, and her skills were never questioned again. She was able to enter the Imperial Ballet under the recommendation of her mentor to a young dancer named Marius Petipa. He was the premier maître d' ballet of the Imperial Theater. She was not only a highly regarded character dancer, but she could also perform on point. In the final year as a student, she performed in the world premiere of Sleeping Beauty. I just have to stop right here and say, there are so many black people who did things on such a huge level all around the world that we don't know about. One particular man named Alexandre Dumas. He is the author of the Nutcracker Ballet and the Three Musketeers, which is the forerunner to Captain America. You have to check it out. I left his video link below. So she performed in Sleeping Beauty. One of her signature roles was a duet with a man named Alexander Gorsky. And she also danced in the Swan Lake, and she did a Spanish dance, so she had a little flavor to her. She also appeared in Cinderella, The Rivals of Capella, La Corsaire, and Little Humpback Horse. She danced with the company as a corps ballet dancer for 10 years. She eventually rose to the of a corps fee. Boy, this story is amazing. But before we close out, I want to again remind everybody about the last dinner of the Titanic that we will be sharing together in Houston and in Dallas. I think now New York is getting ready to get added to the New York. I've left all of the information down below. If you want to join us for the last Titanic dinner, I'm going to be doing a dinner theater as well as an exhibit. And we're all going to dress like in the 19th century. Y'all come out, have a good time with me. Let's bring history alive. So let's get back to a story. Maria really had an illustrious career. She performed 40 times in ballet and 18 times in opera, totaling 58 appearances, and she was just beginning her career. But all of a sudden, her career ended abruptly. You see, she had contracted tuberculosis. And at only 29 years old, this beautiful dancer, this graceful woman who had fought to stay in school so that she could be a dancer, passed away. Some of these stories I go through and we talk about here on the channel, it's just amazing how young these young people passed away. And we would have never heard of her if it wasn't for a Dutch researcher. I thank God for people who kind of are nosy and like to look into our history. And now we're able to add one more person to the Black lexicon and conversation around Black history. A Black ballerina in Russia. Who would have ever thought it? I hope that you all enjoyed this lesson. I really enjoyed teaching it and helping you discover someone who we have never ever heard of. I want you to share her story because it's fascinating and it may inspire another little girl who wants to learn how to dance. Not only that, I hope it inspired you. Maybe you have come to a place where somebody has said you're not good enough for something. Hang on in there. Keep practicing and keep working at it. Just like Maria, you too will reach your goal. I just know it. So I am just so thankful for you joining me today. I hope you've learned a lot, as I said before. And as always, my lecture is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Now, let me tell you something. This woman was so unknown and nobody even knows about her. And we're just learning about her that she didn't even have a Wikipedia page. And I wish I knew how to do it because I would do a Wikipedia page for me. If y'all know how to do that, would you put it down in the comments and let's make sure her page gets up. But I learned about her through the Marius Petipa Society, Point Magazine, and MOB Ballet. I hope you had a great time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. When you like it, it really pushes it through the algorithm and it gets Black history onto other people's pages so they can see how wonderful we really are. And I'll see you on another great episode of Royal Black and Elite. Thanks for watching.